Om Hari Om Sri Kurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Garuda Purana. This Purana contains 14 chapters, each with many subsections. 14.1.1 Lord Vishnu's Incarnations. Suji once reached Naimisharanya in course of his pilgrimage. There he found numerous sages engaged in austerities and penance. All of them were delighted to find Suji in their midst and considered it as God-sent opportunity to get their doubts related with religious topics cleared. Sage Saunaka was also present there, and he asked Suji, "O revered sage, who is the creator of this world? Who nurtures it? And who annihilates it in the end? How can one realize the Supreme Almighty? How many incarnations the Almighty has taken till now? Please enlighten us on all these things, which are shrouded in mystery." Suji replied, "I am going to reveal to you the contents of Garuda Purana, which contains the divine tales of Lord Vishnu. This particular Purana is named after Garuda because he was the one who first narrated these tales to sage Kashyapa. Kashyapa subsequently narrated them to sage Vyasa. I came to know about these divine tales from sage Vyasa. Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Almighty and the source of all creations. He is the nurturer of this world and the annihilator as well. Though he is beyond the bondage of birth and death, yet he takes incarnations to protect the world from the tyranny of sinners. His first incarnation was in the form of eternal adolescent Sanat Kumara and others who were all celibates and extremely virtuous. Lord Vishnu took his second incarnation in the form of a boar, Varaha, to protect the earth from the mighty demon named Hiranyaksha, who had abducted her to Patalaloka, that is netherworld. In his third incarnation as Narad, he propagated the virtues of Nishkama Karma, performing one's duties without bothering about the results. In his fourth incarnation as Naranarayana, he performed arduous austerities for the protection and propagation of dharma or religiousness. Lord Vishnu's fifth incarnation was as Kapila, which he took to protect the Sankhya Shastra, which was on the verge of becoming extinct. He took his sixth incarnation in the house of Atri and Anasuya as Dattatreya, with the special objective of propagating the most secret Brahma Vidya to worthy people. His disciples included virtuous souls like Prahlada and others. Lord Vishnu took his seventh incarnation as the son of Ruchi, Prajapati and Akuti and was known as Yagnadeva. His eighth incarnation was as Rishabhadeva, the son of sage Nabhi and Merudevi. In this incarnation, he established the norms of Grihastha Ashrama, which later on became the guidelines for every householders. Lord Vishnu took his ninth incarnation as Prithu and milked, extracted various nutrients, cereals, pulses, etc. from the earth, who had disguised herself as a cow and thus protected the populace from getting starved to death. In his 10th incarnation as Matsya, that is fish, he protected the life of Vaivasvatamanu, who would not have survived otherwise. Lord Vishnu took his 11th incarnation in the form of tortoise, Kurma, and held the Mandarachara mountain on his back at the time when the ocean was being churned. His 12th incarnation was of Dhanvantari and 13th as the most enchanted beauty, Mohini, to retrieve the ambrosia pot from the possession of the demons. He subsequently distributed it among the deities, as the result of which they became immortal. In his 14th incarnation, Lord Vishnu manifested himself as Narasimha, partly human and partly lion, and to protect his devotee Prahlada, killed the wicked demon Hiranyakashipu by tearing apart his abdomen with his sharp claws. His 15th incarnation was as Vamana, dwarf, in which he demanded all the three worlds from Bali, the most benevolent demon king, and then sent him to Patala Loka. In his 16th incarnation as Parshurama, he wiped out the whole caste of Kshatriyas from the face of the earth for 21 times, as they had all become immortal. In his 17th incarnation, he was born as Vyasa to Parashara and Satyavati, and accomplished his mission of propagating the knowledge of Vedas by categorizing them into 4 parts. In his 18th incarnation, he manifested himself as Sri Rama. His 19th incarnation was as Krishna, and his 20th incarnation as Balarama. He will take his 21st incarnation as Buddha to bring the mankind back to virtuous path by preaching against the rituals and proving that it is not proper for a seeker to get bound by them. Lord Vishnu would take incarnation as Kalki and will be born to Brahmin named Vishnu Yasha to liberate the earth from the sinners. 14.1.2 How Garuda Purana was propagated. On being asked by the sages as to how did he come to know about the contents of Garuda Purana, Sutji told them, "Once I had gone to Badrikashrama, where I met sage Vyasa. I requested him to enlighten me on various spiritual matters, to which he agreed, saying that he was going to narrate the tales of Garuda Purana, which was first told by Lord Brahma to Narada, Daksha Prajapati and myself." Sage Vyasa then told Sutji how once he, along with Narada, Daksha and Bhrigu, had gone to Brahmaloka to see Lord Brahma. After reaching there, all three of them requested Lord Brahma to shed light on the essence of the real knowledge. Lord Brahma revealed to them that the Garuda Purana contained the essence of all scriptures, and Lord Vishnu himself had narrated its divine tales to him, that is Brahma. Describing the incident when Lord Vishnu had told the divine tales of Garuda Purana to him as well as Shiva, Lord Brahma said, "I once went to Kailasa mountain accompanied by Indra and other deities. We found Shiva engrossed in his meditation. We were amazed and asked him as to who was he meditating upon. Lord Shiva told us that he was meditating upon the omnipresent and omniscient and the omnipotent Vishnu, in whom the entire universe exists. Lord Shiva also revealed to us that this was all he knew of Vishnu's power, and also that if we wanted to know more about him, then we will have to ask Lord Vishnu himself." So all of us, including Shiva, went to Vishnu Loka and requested Lord Vishnu to clear our doubts on various topics which confused us. Lord Vishnu gave us a long discourse covering all the major religious topics. 14.1.3 Lord Vishnu reveals his omnipotent nature. Dwelling on length about his power, Lord Vishnu told Shiva, "O Rudra, I am the Lord of all the deities. I am the one who controls each and every event that occurs in the universe. I am the one whom mortals worship with desire of attaining salvation. The universe would have ceased to exist but for me. I am the creator, the nurturer, as well as the supreme annihilator. I manifest myself in the sacred mantras as well as their meanings. People meditate on me. Matter is nothing but a medium through which I manifest myself." 14.1.4 Lord Vishnu blesses Garuda. Describing how Garuda pleased him with his deep devotion, Lord Vishnu said, "During ancient times, Garuda once did an austere penance to please me. I appeared before him and expressed my willingness to fulfill anything that he wished for. Garuda wanted to liberate his mother, Vinita, from the slavery of Kadru, the mother of serpents. He also wanted to avenge his mother's humiliation at their hands. He also expressed his desire of becoming immortal by having a Purana credited to his name. And finally, he requested me to give him the privilege of becoming my mount. I blessed Garuda as the result of which all his wishes were fulfilled. Once, on being requested by sage Kashyapa, Garuda narrated the divine tales of Garuda Purana to him. Sage Kashyapa had once brought back a dead tree back to life with the help of Garudi Vidya, a sacred mantra found in Garuda Purana. Similarly, Garuda too had brought numerous dead creatures back to life with the help of the same mantra. 14.1.5 The beginning of creation. Lord Shiva requested Vishnu to shed light on different topics like Sarga, world, Pratisarga, Vamsh, dynasties, Manvantara, 14th part of Brahma's day, and Vanshanucharit, genealogy. Lord Vishnu replied, O Rudra, Lord Vasudeva in his incarnation of Naranarayana performs his responsibilities of the creator, protector as well as the annihilator. Each particle that is found in this universe, whether perceptible or imperceptible, is nothing but the medium through which the Almighty makes his presence felt. In the beginning of the creation, on account of his will, subtle matters of nature, imperceptible, came into being. He is the one to whom Atma or Purusha owe its existence. Subsequently, intelligence or Buddhi manifested itself from the subtle matters of nature, mind or Man from intelligence, space or Akasha from mind, air or Vayu from space, fire or Teja from air, water from Teja, and finally the earth manifested itself from water. O Rudra, then came into existence an enormous sized egg. I dwell within the egg, and so do all the other deities. In fact, the whole universe is situated within that egg. The Almighty Vishnu creates in the form of Brahma, nurtures in the form of Vishnu, and annihilates in the form of Shiva at the end of each kalpa. The creations of the Almighty are known as sargas. First of all, the Almighty creates the Mahat Tattva, which symbolizes his gross quality. Since it was his first creation, therefore it was called the first sarga. The second sarga consisted of the creation of the Pancha Tanmatras, or the five basic elements: earth, Prithvi, water, Jala, fire, Teja, air, Vayu, and sound, Shabda. These five basic elements are the stuffs from which matter is made. The third sarga, namely Vaikarik sarga, comprising the creation of all the sense organs and the organs of the actions, is basically intelligence oriented, because the sense organs cannot function without intelligence. All these above mentioned three sargas come under the category of Prakrit sarga, or natural creation. The fourth sarga is known as Mukhya sarga, or the main creation, and consists of immovable things like mountains, trees, etc. The fifth sarga is known as Tiryak sarga and consists of animals and birds. The sixth sarga comprise the creation of the deities and the other celestial beings, and hence it is also known as Deva sarga. The seventh sarga comprising the creation of human beings, and hence it was called Manushya sarga. The eighth sarga, which is also called Anugraha sarga, consists of creation that are both sattvic, pure, and tamasic, dark in nature. The ninth sarga is called Kaumar sarga. Lord Brahma commenced his creation of supreme entities by expressing his will resulting into the manifestation of all the 10 Manasaputras. Subsequently, Lord Brahma created different other entities like deities, Deva, demons, Danava, ancestors, Pitra, and human beings, Manushya. He then created the Asuras from his thighs and subsequently abandoned his body. The dark qualities emanating from his body resulted into the creation of night, a creation that immensely pleased the demons. Lord Brahma then attained a new physical form which was pure, sattvic in nature. He created the deities from his mouth and once again abandoned his body, resulting in the creation of day this time. All the deities became extremely pleased by this particular creation of Brahma. Once again, Lord Brahma attained another form and created the Pitras. And when he abandoned that body, Sandhya, evening, manifested from it. Lord Brahma then attained a form that was Rajomaya in nature and created human beings. His abandoning that particular form resulted into the creation of Pratakala, that is dawn. Subsequently, Lord Brahma created a different species like Yaksha, Sarpa, Gandharva and Apsaras and many more creatures from the different parts of his body. All the four Vedas, namely Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda, manifested themselves from each of Brahma's four mouths. Similarly, all the four castes such as Brahmins, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra manifested from Brahma's mouth, arms, thighs and feet, respectively. 14.1.6 The beginning of copulative creation. Having created Daksha Prajapati and his wife Prasuti from his right and left thumb respectively, Lord Brahma instructed both of them to make their contributions in increasing the population with the help of copulative creation. In course of time, Daksha Prajapati begot numerous daughters, all of whom were given in marriage to 10 Manasaputras. Once, Daksha Prajapati had organized a grand Ashwamedha Yaga to which he had invited all his daughters and son-in-laws except Sati and Rudra. Sati eventually reached her father's place, much against the advice of Shiva, who was strictly against going to a place uninvited. Shiva's apprehensions were not unfounded supposition, as Sati was indeed humiliated by Daksha in front of all the esteemed guests. Sati was so deeply hurt by her father's rude behavior and the manner in which she made fun of her husband that she gave up her life by jumping into the sacrificial fire. When Rudra learned about Sati's death, he cursed Daksha by saying that he would lose his divine status and would be born as a human being in the lineage of Dhruva. In his next birth, Sati was born as the daughter of Himalaya and Mainak. She was once again successful in getting Shiva as her husband by virtue of her deep devotion towards Shiva. 14.1.7 The Dhruva dynasty. Lord Vishnu continued with the tales of Garuda Purana told Shiva. Uttanapad had two wives, Suruchi and Suniti. From his former wife, he begot a son named Uttam, while Suniti gave birth to Dhruva, who became immortal because of his unflinching devotion in me. Dhruva had a mighty son named Shlishta, Prachinavarhi, and Shilista's son and Dhruva's grandson. Few other prominent personalities coming from the lineage of Dhruva were Udradi, Divanjaya, Ripa, Chakshashu, Ruru, Anga, Ven, etc. Ven was an atheist and was eventually killed by sages for his immortal deeds. Since Ven had no progeny, his death put a question mark on his successors. Sages tried to solve this problem by churning his thighs, which resulted into the emergence of Nishad. But Nishad went to Vindhyachala to do penance. Seeing their whole effort go in vain, all the sages once again churned Ven's hands. This time, Lord Vishnu himself incarnated as Prithu. Prithu was an extremely kind-hearted king and cared for his subjects. Once, when his kingdom was experiencing an acute famine, he successfully extracted the essential nutrients from the earth and thus saved his subjects from starvation. Prithu had 10 sons, prominent among whom were Antardhana, Havirdhana, Prachivarhi, and Prachitas. In course of time, Prachitas married Marisha. Just according to the curse of Shiva, Daksha Prajapati was reborn in the clan of Dhruva. His father's name was Prachitas and his mother was Marisha. In the beginning, Daksha Prajapati tried to do creation by merely expressing his will, but his efforts went futile because of Shiva's curse. So, he had no option but to take help of copulative creation, and to meet his objective, he married Asikni, the daughter of Viran. In the course of time, he became the father of 1,000 sons, all of whom perished while on their impossible mission of finding out the circumference of the earth. Actually, sage Narad had incited all of them to take this impossible mission. Daksha, although angry, did not lose heart, and in the course of time he once again fathered 1,000 sons. Once again, Narad was successful in convincing them to emulate the deeds of their elder brothers. All of them set out on the impossible mission never to return. Now, Daksha's anger crossed all limits, and he cursed Narad by saying that he would take birth as a human for inciting his sons to death. This is the reason why Narad was born as Kashyapa's sons. In the years to follow, Daksha Prajapati begot 60 beautiful daughters from Asikni, among whom he gave away 2 daughters in marriage to sage Angira, 2 to sage Krishaswa, 10 to Dharma, 14 to sage Kashyap, and 28 daughters to Chandrama. The names of Krishaswa's wives were Suprayaga and Jaya, while Dharma's wives were Arundhati, Vasu, Yami, Lambha, Bhanumati, Marutvati, Sankalpa, Muhurata, Sadhya, and Vishwa. The names of Kashyapa's wife were Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kala, Anayu, Sinhika, Muni, Kadru, Sadhya, Ira, Krodha, Vinta, Surabhi, and Khaga. Dharma's wives Vishwa and Sandhya gave birth to Vishwadevas and Sadhyaganas, respectively. Similarly, Marutvati gave birth to Marutvans and Vasu to Vasuganas. Dharma's wife, named Bhanu, gave birth to 12 Bhanus, while Maruta gave birth to Marutganas. Lamba gave birth to Ghosh, while Yami gave birth to Nagavithi. Sankalpa gave birth to Sankalpa. Kashyapa's wife Aditi gave birth to 12 Adityas, while Diti gave birth to 2 sons, demons, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. Diti also had a daughter named Sinhika, who was married to Viprachiti. Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons, Anulad, Hlad, Prahlad, and Sanhalad. Aishaman, Shibhi, and Bashkal were the sons of Sanhalad. Prahlada had a mighty son named Virochana, who himself had a son named Bali. Bali had 100 sons in all, and Ban was the eldest among them. Hiranyaksha had 6 sons, all of whom were brave and valiant. Their names were Utkur, Shakuni, Bhusantapan, Mahanam, Mahabhanu, and Kalnam. Danu had numerous sons who were all very brave. Drimurdha, Shankar, Ayurmukh, Shankurisha, Kapila, Sambar, Ekachara, Mahabahu, Tarak, Mahabal, Swarabhanu, Vrishaparva, Puloma, Mahusur, and the mightiest among them, Viprachit. Puloma and Kalka, both daughters of Vaishvanava, were married to sage Kashyapa. Kashyapa had 60,000 sons, demons, from both of them. Demons such as Nigat, Kavach came from the lineage of Prahlada. Tamra had 6 daughters, and their names were Shuki, Shayini, Masi, Sugrivi, Suchi, and Gridika. Suki gave birth to numerous species of birds like Shuka, parrot, Ulka owls, and Kaka crows. Similarly, Shayani gave birth to Shayan hawks and Gridika to Grid vultures. Suchi was the mother of aquatic birds, while Sugrivi gave birth to various animals like horses, camels, donkeys, etc. Arun and Garuda were born to Vinita, while Surasa and Kadru gave birth to serpents. Krodha gave birth to powerful Pishachas, Surabhi to cows and buffaloes, Ira to various vegetations like creepers and grasses, Khaga to Yakshas and Rakshasas, Muni to Apsaras and Arishta gave birth to Gandharvas. Diti gave birth to 49 Marutaganas, all of whom are in the fact the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. 14.2 Powerful Mantras. This chapter contains 4 sections as follows. 14.2.1 Navagraha Mantra. Describing the significance of worshipping Navagraha, 9 planets, Lord Vishnu told Rudra, one who worships the Navagrahas with appropriate rituals attains all the 4 Purusharthas, objectives of man's life, Dharma, religion, and Artha, money, Kama, desire, and Moksha, salvation. He then went on to give various mantras related to with the Navagrahas, which a devotee should chant while worshipping them. Surya, sun. Om Surya Murtaye Namaha. Om Hram Hrim Sa Suryaye Namaha. Chandrama, moon. Om Saumaye Namaha. Bhaum, Mars. Om Bhaumyaye Namaha. Buddhi, Mercury. Om Buddhaye Namaha. Vrahaspati, Jupiter. Om Vrahaspatiye Namaha. Shukra, Venus. Om Shukraye Namaha. Shani, Saturn. Om Shaneshwaraye Namaha. Rahu, dragon's head. Om Rahuye Namaha. Ketu, dragon's tail. Om Ketave Namaha. Shiva Mantra. 14.2.2 Shiva Mantra. There are various mantras used in the rituals of Shiva's worship. A devotee should begin by worshipping the asan, the pedestal on which the deity is seated. There is a specific mantra for this particular ritual. Om Hram Shivaye Namaha. Subsequently, a salutation to Lord Shiva is made by chanting Om Shivamurtiye Namaha. A special ritual named Sadanganyas is then performed by chanting different mantras associated with the specific parts of the deity's body, such as Om Hram Hrudayaye Namaha, Om Hrim Sirishe Swaha, Om Hum Shikaye Vashat, Om Hraim Kavachaye Hum, Om Hraum Netraye Vaushat, Om Hram Astraye Phata. Having accomplished the above mentioned rituals, a devotee should then worship each of the 5 faces of Shiva by chanting the following mantras. Om Hram Saddujayat Namaha, Om Hrim Vamadevaye Namaha, Om Hrum Agoraye Namaha, Om Hraim Tatpurushaye Namaha, Om Hraum Ishaye Namaha. Vishnu Mantra. While worshipping Lord Vishnu, first of all, a devotee should worship the asana of the deity by chanting Om Vasudevaya Asanaye Namaha. He should then make salutation to Lord Vishnu by chanting the following mantras. Om Vasudevaya Murtaye Namaha. Om Aim Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaye Namaha. Om Am Om Namo Bhagavate Shankarshanaye Namaha. Om Aim Om Namo Bhagavate Pradyumnaye Namaha. Om Ham Om Namo Bhagavate Anuruddhaye Namaha. Subsequently, a devotee should worship the various incarnations of Lord Vishnu, his weapons, as well as his different mounts by incorporating the rituals of Shodaposha Shodapochara by chanting the following mantra. Shodashopochara by chanting the following mantra. Om Narayane Namaha. Om Tatsad Brahmane Namaha. Om Hum Vaishnave Namaha. Om Hraum Namo Bhagavate Narsimhaye Namaha. Om Bhum Om Namo Bhagavate Varahe Namaha, etc. Saraswati Mantra 14.2.3 Saraswati Mantra. A devotee should begin his worship by making salutations to God Saraswati by chanting Om Hrim Saraswatyaye Namaha. He should then perform the rituals of Sadangnyasa by chanting the following mantras. Om Hram Hrudayaye Namaha. Om Hrim Sirise Swaha. Om Hum Shikaye Vashat. Om Hraim Kavachaye Hum. Om Hraum Netra Trayaye Vaushat. Om Hra Astraye Pata. 14.2.4 Lakshmi Mantra. A devotee desires of acquiring wealth and prosperity must worship Goddess Lakshmi with appropriate rituals. He should begin by making salutations to the goddess by chanting the following mantra. Om Shrim Hrim Mahalakshmaye Namaha. Then, following the rituals of Sadangnyasa, that is performed by chanting the specific mantra meant for them. 14.3 Astrology in Garuda Purana. This chapter contains 11 sections as follows. 14.3.1 The Chariots of Navagrahas. While describing the chariots of all the 9 planets, Lord Vishnu told Rudra, the chariots of Surya, Deva, sun, has an unbelievable expanse stretching up to 9,000 yojanas. The axle of the chariot is 1 crore and 57 lakhs yojanas long, and wheels are fixed at both its ends. The wheels have 6 circumferences symbolizing the 6 main seasons and 5 spokes symbolizing the 5 different units of time measurement in them. The chariot of sun, Surya, is pulled by 7 horses. These horses symbolizes the 7 chandas, stanzas used in poetry: Gayatri, Vrihati, Ushnik, Jagati, Trishtup, Anushtup, and Pankti. The chariot of Chandrama, moon, has 3 wheels in it. It is pulled by 10 white horses. The color of Mangal's, Mars, chariot is golden and is pulled by horse of dark lead color. Budh's, Mercury's chariot is of brown color and is pulled by 8 horses of the same color. The chariot of Brahaspati, Jupiter, is made of gold and is pulled by 8 horses of yellowish complexion. Jupiter remains in each of the 12 zodiacs for a year. Shukra's, Venus' chariot is well escorted by his army. The chariot has a mast on its top and is pulled by horses that are found on earth. Horses pulling the chariots of Shani, Saturn are of vari-colored. The chariots of Rahu is pulled by 8 horses, which are of the color of smoke. The chariots of Ketu is pulled by 8 horses, which are red in color. 14.3.2 Description of Yogas and Muhurtas. Giving elaborate description of inauspicious days on which one should not undertake travels or journeys, Lord Vishnu told Shiva, various yoginis, goddesses, dwell in different directions on specific days, and one should never set out on journeys on those days. A yogini named Brahmani dwells in the east on Pratipada 1st and Navami 9th of both the fortnights of each month, and nobody should travel on both these days towards east. Maheshwari dwells in the north on 2nd and 9th of both the fortnights of each month, and hence nobody should travel towards north on both these days. Varahi dwells in the south on the 5th and the 13th of both the fortnights of each month, and hence it is unadvisable to travel towards south on the above mentioned dates. In the same manner, Indrani dwells in the west on 6th and 14th of both the fortnights of each month, and therefore nobody should travel in this direction on both the above mentioned dates. While giving names of some auspicious nakshatras suitable for undertaking journey, Lord Vishnu said constellations like Ashwini, Anuradha, Revati, Mrigashira, Moola, Punarvasu, Pushya, Hasta, and Jeshta are auspicious for undertaking journeys. Lord Vishnu, giving some specific combination of days and tithis considered to be inauspicious, said, one should never travel on the following inauspicious days: Dwadashi, following on Sunday, or Ekadashi, following on Monday, or Navami, following on Wednesday, or Ashtami, following on Thursday, or Saptami, following on Friday, and Sashti, following on Saturday. 14.3.3 Amrit Yoga. It is the most auspicious yoga for commencing any work. The conjunction of a particular day and specific nakshatra constitute this yoga. Few examples of Amrit Yoga are Mula Nakshatra falling on Sunday, Sravana Nakshatra on Monday, Uttara Bhadrapada on Tuesday, Kritika on Wednesday, Punarvasu on Thursday, Pura Falguni on Friday, and Swati Nakshatra following on Saturday. 14.3.4 Vishayoga. It is considered to be inauspicious yoga and unsuitable for commencing any important work. Few examples of this particular yoga are Bharani Nakshatra falling on Friday, Chitra Nakshatra on Monday, Uttarashada on Tuesday, Dhanishta on Wednesday, Shatabisha on Thursday, Rohini on Friday, and Revati Nakshatra falling on Saturday. 14.3.5 Grahadasha. Describing the period for which a particular planet is supposed to have its influence on the native, Lord Vishnu told Shiva, Surya Dasha continues for 6 years and brings turbulence, turmoil, and agony to the concerned person. Moon's Dasha continues for 15 years and is considered very auspicious as it brings happiness and prosperity. Mangala Dasha is considered inauspicious and lasts for 8 years. It brings sorrows and misfortunes. Buddha Dasha is auspicious and lasts for 17 years. It brings all kinds of favorable results and is extremely rewarding in every respect. Shani Dasha lasts for 10 years and brings all kinds of inauspicious results to a man. Vrahaspati Dasha continues for 19 years and is extremely auspicious. Rahu Dasha continues for 12 years and is inauspicious. Shukra Dasha lasts for 20 years and is auspicious. Note, the period of years stated in the above mentioned Graha Dashas are at variance from those mentioned by sage Parashara, which is in practice nowadays. 14.3.6 Predictions based on physical traits. Dwelling on length about the importance of physical traits and the symptoms apparent in an individual, Lord Vishnu told Shiva, if one sees the following physical traits in a man, he should immediately understand that he is seeing a prospective king. Hands and feet as soft as lotus flowers, pink nails, and no space left between the fingers when kept straight. There is no sign of bulging veins on his hands and palms, and they do not sweat excessively. On the contrary, a person having rough feet that appears pale, with prominent veins on them, indicates that the concerned person would be poor and miserable. 14.3.7 Predicting age with the help of forehead line. Lord Vishnu said, anybody having 3 parallel lines on his forehead lives happily for 60 years, whereas 2 parallel lines indicate that he would live till the age of 40 years. Only 1 line on the forehead indicates that he would have a short life, but if the line stretches up to both the ears, then he lives for a century. If 2 parallel lines on the forehead stretches up to both the ears, then the concerned person lives for 70 years. while a triple parallel line reaching both the ears indicate that he would live till the age of 60 years. A forehead devoid of any line on it means that the concerned person would live for only 40 years, while a cobweb of intersecting lines on the forehead indicates that the concerned person is definite to die a premature death. A forehead with a trident or an axe mark on it indicates that the concerned person would be prosperous and live for a century. 14.3.8 Predicting Age by Palmistry. Lord Vishnu continued with his narration told Shiva that the age of a person would be predicted by the lines found on his palms. If the lifeline reaches the base between the index and the middle finger, then the concerned person lives for a century. If the lifeline is long, clear, without intersection from other lines, then the concerned person lives for 100 years. 14.3.9 Predictions based on the physical traits of a woman. Lord Vishnu said, a woman having a round face, curly hair, and lower portion of her navel slightly slanted towards right is extremely fortunate not only for herself but also for her whole clan. Similarly, a woman with golden complexion and hands as beautiful and soft as red lotus flower is exceptionally chaste and faithful towards her husband. A woman having dry and unruly hair and also round eyes becomes a widow. A woman whose face is round like a full moon and which radiates like rising sun and whose lips are juicy like bale fruit, wood apple, enjoys a happy and contented life. A woman having a cobweb of lines on her palms is sure to lead a torturous and a painful life, whereas a palm with few lines indicate that she would be poor. If the lines are pink, then they indicate happiness, prosperity, and good health, whereas blackish lines indicate that she would live a life of slavery. Any woman having either a chakra, a hook, or ear ring marked on her hand indicate that she would beget worthy sons and rule like a queen. A woman having hair around her breast as well as protruding lower lips spells doom for her husband. A woman having a festoon mark on her palms indicate that she would get married in a family superior to her in status. A woman having a round navel with brown hair around it leads a life of slavery despite being born in a royal family. A woman whose little toes as well as big toes of both the legs do not touch the ground while walking spells doom for her husband. In the same manner, beautiful eyes indicate good fortune, while soft, tender skin indicates a happy married life. 14.3.10 Various names of Saligram. Describing how Saligram is named on the basis of number of chakras present on it. Lord Vishnu said, if there is only one chakra on the Saligrama idol, then it is called Sudarshana. In the same way, Saligrama with two chakras is known as Lakshmi Narayana, while that having three chakras on it is called Achyut. Saligrama with four chakras on it is known as Chaturbhuja, that with 5 chakras Vasudeva. Similarly, Saligrama with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12 chakras are called Pradyumna, Sankarshana, Purushottama, Navayuha, Dasamat, Aniruddha, Dvidashtamat, respectively. Saligrama with more than 12 chakras are called infinite. 14.3.11 How jewels originate. Sutji once narrated the following tale to the assembled sages, which sheds light on the origin of jewels and other precious stones. During ancient times, there lived a mighty demon named Bala. Although he had defeated the deities and driven them out of the heavens, yet he had assured them that he would extend fullest cooperation and support in any yagna performed by the deities in future. All the deities planned to perform the yajna in order to regain their lost kingdom. They made all the necessary preparations for the yajna, but were unable to find a person who could offer himself as a sacrificial being, a ritual without which any yajna is incomplete. Seeing no other option, the worried deities took refuge of Balasur and requested him to offer himself for sacrifice so that the yajna could be accomplished without any hitch. Balasur was bound by his promise, so he agreed. This way, the deities were able to accomplish their yajna. But a strange event coincided with the death of Balasur, which surprised even the deities. The virtuous deed of offering himself as sacrificial being in the yajna ceremony had amazingly transformed Balasur corpse into jewels. Deities tried to carry the jewel body through the aerial route towards a safer place, but it was fragmented into countless pieces due to the impact of ferocious speed of the wind it had to negotiate. These pieces scattered all over the places, ocean, river, mountains, forest, etc. In course of time, these places got transformed into countless mines of jewels and precious stones such as Vajra, diamond, Muktamani, Indranil, Spatika, Praval, Pushaparag, and many more. 14.4 Prominent Places of Pilgrimage. This chapter contains 5 sections as follows. Sutji, while giving the names of some prominent places of pilgrimage, told the assembled sages, the banks of Ganga are considered to be the holiest among all the places of pilgrimage. The holy Ganga, which originates from the Himalayas in the north, ultimately gets merged with the ocean in the east. During her entire course of flow, she passes through numerous places which owe their holiness mainly to her. Although any place situated on the banks of Ganga is considered holy, yet Prayag, Haridwar, Varanasi, and Ganga Sangam, the place where she meets the ocean, has special significance, and there is no other place as holy as each of them. Prayag is believed to fulfill both the wishes which a man aspires for worldly enjoyments as well as salvation. Performing the rituals of Pindadana here not only helps the ancestors to liberate, but also himself. Varanasi is the same place where Lord Shiva and Keshava have their respective abodes. Donating at Kurukshetra brings incomparable virtues and gives both worldly enjoyments as well as salvation. Kedara Tirtha is capable of liberating even the heinous sinners from all his sins. Few other places considered very holy are Svetadvip, Nimisharanya, Pushkar, Ayodhya, Chitrakoot, Gomati, Kanchipuri, Srishaila, Kamatirtha, Amarkantak, Ujjaini, Mathura, Govardhan, etc. All these places have great religious significance, and each of them is capable of liberating a man from all his sins. 14.4.1 The significance of Gaya Tirtha. Once, while narrating how Gaya, a prominent place of pilgrimage in the east part of India, got its name, Lord Brahma told sage Vyasa, during ancient times there lived a mighty demon named Gaya. He used to torment the deities, who ultimately went to seek the help of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu successfully killed Gayasur after a fierce mace duel. The place where Gaya died became famous by his name. There is a grand Vishnu temple situated at Gaya, where there is a magnificent idol of Lord Gadadhar, Lord Vishnu holding a mace in his hands. Gaya is considered to be the most ideal place of pilgrimage for performing the Shraddha rituals. It is believed that a person goes to hell if he dies in the following circumstances: if he dies without his consecration being performed, or if a wild animal kills him, or if he meets an accidental death, no matter what the reasons are. But if Shraddha rituals are performed at Gaya, then the soul of such a man gets rid of tortures of the hell and goes to heaven. The importance of performing Shraddha rituals over there can be gauged by the fact that a person becomes liberated from Pitraruna, debt towards one's father, once he touches the sacrosanct soil of Gaya. The reason being that Lord Vishnu himself dwells there in the form of Pitrudevata, and by having his divine glimpse, a man is freed from all his three depths. The entire area stretching from the foothills of Vishnu mountain to Uttarmanas is considered extremely holy, and this is the same area where river Falgun flows. Offering Pindadana to ancestors at this place helps them to attain salvation. While performing the rituals of Pindadana, he should chant the following mantra: Isha Pindomaya Dastratrau Haste Janardana Parlokam Gate Moksham Kshamu Patistatham. There are many other places as holy as the banks of Falgun, and performance of Shraddha rituals over there give undiminished virtues to the ancestors. Dharma Prishta, Brahmasar, Gaya Shirisha, Akshaya Tirtha, Dinu Karnya are few such places capable of liberating 20 generations of a man. The entire city of Gaya is considered sacrosanct, and performing the rituals of Shraddha or offering Pindadana to ancestors at any place within Gaya helps the soul of the ancestor to attain the Brahmaloka. 14.4.2 The rituals of Pindadana. Before setting out for Gaya to offer Pindadana, a man should appropriately perform Shraddha rituals in the village or town he lives. Each step taken towards Gaya acts as a stepping stone to the heaven for the ancestors. Getting one's head tonsured or observing fast is prohibited in some places of pilgrimage like Badrinath, Kurukshetra, Jagannatha Puri and Gaya. There is no time restrictions on the performance of Shraddha ritual at the Gaya, and they can be performed anytime. After reaching Gaya, a man should first of all invoke his ancestors while taking bath in the holy Falgun and offering Pindadana to them. He should then visit the temple of Lord Gadadhar Vishnu and worship the deity. The next day he should once again perform the Shraddha rituals at Dharmarayan and Matangavapi, two sacrosanctum places having great religious significance. On the third day, he should perform the rituals of Tarpan on the banks of Brahmasada Tirtha and then go to Kupatirtha and Yupatirtha to repeat the performance of Shraddha ritual. He should then feed the Brahmins at Gropachar Tirtha, an act considered to help ancestor attain salvation. On the fourth day, he should take a holy dip in river Falgun and once again perform Shraddha ritual at a place called Gaya Shirish. There are many more holy places in the vicinity where he is required to perform Shraddha rituals. Vyas, Dehimukh, Panchagni, Surya Tirtha, Soma Tirtha, and Kartikeya Tirtha are few of them. Finally, on the fifth day, he should take a holy dip in Gadaloka Tirtha and offered Pindadana under the banyan tree called Akshayavat, an act believed to liberate all his predecessors as well as coming generation from the bondage of earth. After the Brahmins are fed, feeding one Brahmin at Gaya brings the same virtues what one would get by feeding 1 crore Brahmins elsewhere. 14.4.3 Tale of King Vishal. Lord Brahma then narrated a tale glorifying the significance of performing Shraddha rituals at Gaya. O Vyasa, once upon a time there lived a trader who was sonless. One day, while he was on his pilgrimage, he met a restless ghost who requested him to perform the rituals of Pindadana at Gaya so that only he became liberated from the pains and tortures of being a spirit, but also he, trader, went to heaven. The trader went to Gaya accompanied by his younger brother as per the request of the ghost, and not only performed the rituals of Pinda Pradana for the ghost but also for his own ancestors. As a result, not only the ghost but all his ancestors became liberated. On account of his virtuous deeds, the trader was blessed with a son. He enjoyed a long life full of joy and contentment. After his death, he was reborn as Vishal in the princely state of Vishala. After growing up, he got married, but even after a long time, he did not beget a son, and this made him very sad. One day, he asked the royal priest about the reason he did not beget a son. All the priests advised him to offer Pindadana at Gaya, as they felt that by doing so, the king would definitely get blessed with a son, and they were not wrong, as Vishal indeed was blessed with a son after he offered Pindadana at Gaya. One day, while Vishal was having a walk in the royal garden, he was amazed to see three entities descending down from the sky. After all three of them had landed on the ground, Vishal had a close look at them. One of them was fair, while the second one's complex was reddish. The third and the most ferocious among them was of dark complexion. For a moment, Vishal was dumbstruck by this mysterious sight, but it did not take him long to gather his composure. He asked them as to who they were and were stunned by the answers he got. Actually, these three entities were none other than the souls of his father, grandfather, and great grandfather, all of whom had died long ago. They had come back to thank Vishal, who, by performing the rituals of Shraddha, had helped them in getting liberated from all their sins. The entity appeared fair, who was in fact was Vishal's father, said, "Thank you for helping me attain to Indraloka. If it was not for you, I would have still been languishing in hell. The entity with reddish complexion is your grandfather, who had committed grave sins while he was alive, and as the consequence, he went to the most ferocious hell named Avici after his death. Even he has been liberated because of you. The third entity among us and having dark complexion is your great grandfather. He had committed heinous of sins while he was alive, but even he has become liberated because of you. We have come to express our gratitude and thank you for having liberated us from our miserable conditions. All three of us are now departing for heaven." Having said this, all the three of them disappeared in a moment. Vishal was extremely satisfied that he had been successful in fulfilling one of the major obligations towards his ancestors, Pitrarana, by helping them attain to heaven. He enjoyed a long life, and after his death, he too went to heaven. 14.4.4 Prajapati Ruchi's Disenchantment. Once, Suji recounted the following tale to the assembled sages, which had been originally told by sage Markandeya to Kraunchiki long ago. One sage, Ruchi, became so disenchanted with the world that he decided to remain a bachelor, a decision which made his Pitras ancestors extremely worried. They tried to change his mind, but citing numerous benefits of householder's life and the yeoman service he does to the society, they said, "O Ruchi, the decision you have taken is most unfortunate. Perhaps you are not aware of the importance of Grihastha holds in the society, but for his corporations, not a single religious activity can take place. It is your misconception that a Grihastha cannot attain salvation. On the contrary, he has numerous opportunities in his life to attain salvation. Different rituals and consecration enable him to achieve this important goal of a man's life." Pitra's advices had a great impact on Prajapati Ruchi, and he agreed to get married. Thereafter, a search for ideal match began, but even after the best of his efforts, he did not get any. Prajapati Ruchi then decided to please Lord Brahma by his austere penance. He commenced his penance, which continued for a very long period. Finally, Lord Brahma appeared and advised him to please his Pitras. Acting on the advice of Lord Brahma, Prajapati Ruchi eulogized his ancestors and performed rituals of Tarpana to pacify their souls. All his Pitras appeared and blessed him. 14.4.5 Prajapati Ruchi marries Manini. The blessings given by Pitras fructified instantaneously as a beautiful Apsara manifested herself from the river flowing nearby and said, "O great sage, I am Pramlocha. I would consider it as my good fortune if you give your consent to marry my daughter Manini. Pushkar, son of Varuna, is her father. In course of time, a son named Rauchya will be born to you. This was the day Prajapati Ruchi was eagerly waiting for. He decided to get married then and there, so he invited all the prominent sages and the marriage ceremony was solemnized in their presence. In the course of time, a son named Rauchya was born to them. He was a great sage after whom a Manvantara was named. 14.5 Description of various consecrations. This chapter contains 6 sections as follows. While describing the significance of various consecrations, Lord Vishnu told Shiva that the union of man's sperm and a woman's ovum results into the birth of a child. This union, along with the whole process of fetus getting transformed into a baby, is a lengthy affair, during which it imbibes numerous impurities. Consecrations purify a man from all these impurities. Lord Vishnu said, the mankind has been categorized into 4 prominent castes or Varanas: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. The former 3 Varanas are also known as Dvijas, twice born. The solemnization of a consecration named Yogapavit is believed to be their second birth, because Yagnopavit is believed to be their second birth, because only they are entitled to get consecrated into this particular ceremony. Right from his birth till he takes his last breath, a Dvija has to undergo various consecrations. Giving the names of some prominent consecration ceremonies that a Dvija has to go through, Lord Vishnu said, Garbandhana Sanskara is performed at the time of conception. The scriptures have clearly stated about the best time for a woman to conceive. 12 days after her menstruation has started, beginning from the 5th day, as the first 4 days are not considered auspicious for this purpose. Punsavan Samskara is performed in the 3rd month after conception, while Semantanoyana Samskara is performed in the 6th or the 8th month after conception, that is Srimanta. After the birth of a child, the consecration named Jatakarma is performed, while Namakarma Samskara is performed on the 11th day of his birth, whereby the newborn baby is given a name. Nishkarmana Samskara is performed in the 4th month and Annaprashana Samskara in the 6th month. The consecration named Chudamani Samskara can be performed either in the 1st, 3rd or 5th year of the child. 14.5.1 Upanayana Samskara. Dwelling on length about the appropriate way of performing Upanayana Samskara, sacred third ceremony rituals, Lord Vishnu said, a Brahmin's child should get consecrated with the sacred thread in his 8th year, while a Kshatriya child consecration should be performed when he has attained the age of 11. Upanayana Samskara of a Vaishya child should be performed in his 12th year. A Dvija whose Upanayana Samskara has been performed must face southwards while relieving himself in the night, whereas during daytime he should face northward. Subsequently, he should purify himself by properly washing his urinary organ with mud, soap and water. He should also wash his hands and feet. The purification is believed to be incomplete until and unless the ritual of Achamana, ritualistic rinsing of the mouth, has been performed. Next morning, after having a bath, he should do pranayama and chant the sacred Gayatri mantra facing east. In the evening, he should chant Gayatri mantra facing south. After this, the ritual of Bhikshastan, is performed, whereby he seeks alms and donates everything he gets to his guru as a mark of respect to him. This particular ritual is symbolic and emphasizes the absolute necessity of subduing one's ego before acquiring knowledge from his guru. A celibate is supposed to wear nothing but a deer skin and a waistband made of long reeds on his person with a sacred thread hanging across his shoulder and carry a stick in his hand. The celibate whose Upanayan Samskara has been performed should stay at his guru's hermitage till he completes his education. It is also his duty to collect food grains from the neighborhood to meet the food requirement of all the people living in the hermitage. A Brahmin celebrate should chant Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi while seeking alms, whereas a Kshatriya celibate should chant the same mantra with a slight modification, Bhiksham Bhavati Dehi. Similarly, a Vaishya celibate should chant Bhiksham Dehi Bhavati while seeking alms. 14.5.2 Keshtan Samskara. Keshanta Samskara. After finishing his education, the celibacy should shave his beard and mustache, Keshamundana, and mustache for the first time. Strict guidelines should be laid down for each caste with respect to this particular consecration. A Brahmin should get consecrated with this ritual in his 16th year, while a Kshatriya should get it performed in his 22nd year. Similarly, a Vaishya should get consecrated with his ritual in his 24th year. The above mentioned age limits are also the maximum before which respective castes are supposed to get consecrated with the sacred thread ceremony, failing which he becomes a religious outcast. 14.5.3 Grihastha Ashrama. His education being complete now, it is time for him to enter the life of a householder. But before leaving the hermitage, he should pay dakshina as a mark of gratitude to his guru for all the knowledge he has imparted to him. With the permission of his guru, he should then marry a girl who is beautiful, younger to him, and belonging to different gotra. Although the best option for him is to marry a woman belonging to his own caste, but he is allowed to marry outside his caste, provided the woman hails from a caste inferior to him. But under no circumstances he should marry a woman belonging to a superior caste. 14.5.4 Copulation prohibited on certain days. An ideal wife is one who obeys the commands of her husband without any inhibition. According to the scripture, the best time for a married couple to copulate is after the woman has had her menstruation, especially till 16th days after her period have commenced, are considered best for this purpose. But there are also certain days on which making sexual contacts is prohibited. The first 4 days after her periods have started. Ashtami, Chaturdashi, Amavasya and Purnima are few such days. If the above given rules are followed, then a couple can beget worthy sons possessing good qualities. Considering the fact that a woman has sexual urge 8 times more than a man, scriptures have also advised a man not to overlook the sexual urge of his wife and to satisfy her without bothering about the prohibited days. 14.5.5 Purification of different articles. Describing the method of purifying different articles, Lord Vishnu reflected on the instructions which sage Yajnavalkya had once given to other sages in this regard. Substances like gold, silver, conch, vegetable, rope, leather articles, etc. become pure once they are washed with water. In the same way, utensils made of wood or animal horn become pure after they have been chiseled. Utensils used in yajna become pure after they have been rubbed with mud and then washed with water. Washing woolen and silken cloth with tepid water or cow's urine make them pure. Land is purified if it is coated with cow dung. Copper vessels, articles made of lead and tin vessels become pure if cleaned with a solution of alkali, acid and then washed with water. Iron and bronze vessel become pure if cleaned with ash and water. The following are believed to be pure: sunlight, fire, cow, horse, earth, air, dewdrops, food grains, up for sale in the market, etc. A man should perform achamana in the following circumstances: after his bath, after drinking water, after sneezing, after walking up waking up from sleep, or after having food, after having a walk on a dusty path, after changing clothes, etc. 14.5.6 Brief description of Shraddha rituals. Describing the proper way of performing Shraddha ritual, Shrey Yajnavalkya told the assemblage sages, a performer of Shraddha ritual should invite able Brahmins and offer them seeds of kushagras. First of all invocations is made to Vishwadeva by chanting a mantra in his praise, an action which is followed by scattering grains of barley in the vessel kept in the front of the deity idol. Subsequently, some water and some quantity of barley is taken in a small vessel, which is then handed over to the Brahmins along with other articles such as ghee lamp, garland, incense, etc. There are specific mantras for this particular ritual. After that, he should offer seeds of kushagras to all his ancestors one by one, beginning from the left-hand side and subsequently moving on to the right-hand side. All the ancestors are then invoked with special mantras, specific mantras. The scriptures allow the use of sesame seeds in place of barley if later is unavailable due to some reason. These sesame seeds should be kept in Ardhyapatra and placed to the left side of each Pitra's ancestors in an inverted position. While performing Havan, he should make offerings of ghee and other articles in the Havanakunda. Finally, Brahmins are fed, after which the performer of Shraddha rituals offer Pindadana in the name of his ancestors. After that, he helps all the Brahmins performs Achamana and gives donation to them. The idol of Vishwadeva is immersed in a nearby river or pond, and then inverted pots are kept back in normal position. Finally, all the Brahmins are seen off with respect. Shraddha rituals performed in the above mentioned way immensely satisfy the ancestors and help them to attain the heaven. 14.6 Karma and its consequences. Karma VIPAK. This chapter contains one section as follows. Continuing with his discourse, sage Yajnavalkya told the assembled sages that an enlightened soul is aware of the fact that the mortal world, being impermanent in nature, has its beginning as well as its end. He is also aware that a man reaps the fruit of his evil deeds in the form of heavenly worth. Adidhaivik or Adhyatmic, obstacles in spiritual development, and Adibhautik, worldly problems like diseases, poverty, etc. That is why he endeavors to follow the path of virtuosity so that he can attain salvation, the ultimate objective of man's life. Anybody engaged in sinful deeds is destined to go to hell, whereas virtuous deeds help a man to attain the heaven. After tasting the fruit of his action, he once again has to take birth to realize the unfulfilled wishes of his previous birth. This cycle of transmigration is an endless process, leading to countless birth and deaths of a man. He experiences unbearable pains in his mother's womb, lying in an inverted position for 9 months. Once again, he has to go through the same dreadful experience of youth, old age, disease, and death. A sinner, after tasting the fruit of his actions in the heaven or hell, depending on his virtuous or sinful deeds, takes rebirth on the basis of the gravity of sins committed. Killing a Brahmin is believed to be the most heinous of sins, and the person who has committed such a sin after having suffered the tortures of hell takes rebirth as a donkey or a dog. In the same way, a person who has stolen gold takes rebirth as a low creature such as worms or insects. A drunkard takes rebirth as a frog, and a person developing illicit relationship with his teacher's wife takes rebirth as grass or hay. One who shows disrespect to his parents is reborn as a tortoise, whereas anybody who wishes ill of his friends is reborn as a donkey. 14.6.1 Atoning for sins. While describing various means by which a sinner can atone for his sins, sage Yajnavalkya said, a man is certain to meet downfall and degradation in the following 3 conditions. If he goes against the instructions given in the scriptures, indulges in prohibited activities, and runs after sensual pleasures, atoning for one's sin is the best means of getting liberated from his sins as well as guilt. A sinner who does not atone for his sins goes through unbearable tortures and pains in hells more horrible than in Maharnava, name of a hell. Very severe punishment has been recommended for a person who has breached the modesty of a woman, especially if she appears to be his friend's wife, teacher's wife, his own daughter or sister-in-law, etc. Scriptures are of the opinion that such a sinner should be killed without showing any mercy. If the woman is willing partner in this ghastly crime, then even she should be meted out the same punishment. A person who has killed a Brahmin should atone for his sin by seeking alms for 12 years, carrying a skull as his begging bowl. He should sustain himself and whatever he receives as alms. Protecting a cow's life also helps a man from getting liberated from sins of Brahmahatya. A drunkard should atone for his sins by consuming any of the following: boiling liquor, ghee, cow's milk or cow's urine. A person accused of stealing gold can become liberated from his sin by donating gold equivalent to his own weight. A person who has killed a cow can become liberated for his sin by consuming panchagavya, a mixture of cow's milk, cow dung, cow urine, ghee and curd, and leading the rest of his life in the servitude of cows. 14.7 Different kind of austerities. This chapter contains 15 sections as follows. Describing the various types of austerities, Lord Vishnu named a few of them. 14.7.1 Yama, restraining passion. This particular austerity comprises of 10 virtues: celibacy, forgiveness, meditation, truthfulness, honesty, non-violence, not stealing, gentleness and self-control. 14.7.2 Niyama, daily routine. This austerity stresses the importance of purity, both of the body as well as of the mind. It comprises of the following activities: daily bathing, contemplation, observing fast, performing oblations, self-study, abstinence, penance, avoiding anger, being respectful towards teacher, and purity. 14.7.3 Mahasantapana Vrata. This particular austerity comprises of special rituals related to the usage of panchagavya, a mixture of cow's milk, curd, ghee, cow urine and cow dung. On the first day of the austerity, a devotee should have only milk. On the second day, curd. On the third day, ghee. On the fourth day, gomutra, cow's urine. On the fifth day, gomaya, cow dung. On the sixth day, he should live only on kushodak, drinking water from a vessel in which kusha grass has been kept. And on the last day of the austerity, he should observe complete fast. 14.7.4 Pranakicha Vrata. Separate solution of palash, beauty frondosa, gular, ficus glomerata, kamal, lotus, and bale tree, wood apple are prepared after boiling the leaves of respective vegetation mentioned above. On the first day of the austerities, a devotee should have only palash solution, while on the second day he should have gular solution. On the third day he should have kamal solution, while on the fourth day he should live only on bale solution. On the fifth day of the austerity he should live only on kusha grass solution and nothing else. This is the manner in which the austerities of Panchakrichaka Vrata is observed. 14.7.5 Tapta Krichaka Vrata. A person observing this austerity should begin by having hot milk on the first day, followed by tepid ghee and lukewarm water on the second and third day respectively. He should observe a complete fast on the fourth day. 14.7.6 Pada Krichaka Vrata. In this particular austerity lasts for 4 days. On the first day, a devotee should observe Ekabhakta Vrata, having food only once a day in the noon. On the second day, he should observe Nakta Vrata, having food only once a day in the night. On the third day, he should break his fast by having whatever is available with him, because anything that has been provided by others is strictly prohibited. He should observe a total fast on the fourth day. When a devotee observes these cycles of austerity for 3 times, then it is called Panchapaktya Krichaka Vratha. 14.7.7 Ati Krichaka Vratha. Rituals of this austerity is more or less similar to that of Prajapatya Krichaka Vratha, with a slight difference. Here, fast is broken with a handful of cooked food. When this particular ritual is observed for 4 days, it is called Ati Krichaka Vratha. 14.7.8 Krichaka Ati Kricha Vrata. Observing the rituals of Ati Krichaka Vrata for 21 days, living only on milk and water, is called Krichaka Vrata. Krichaka Vrata. 14.7.9 Parak Vrata. Observing complete fast for 12 continuous days is called Parak Vrata. 14.7.10 Chandrayana Vrata. It is important austerity lasting for a month, which commences on the first day of the bright half of a month by observing fast for the whole day and breaking it in the night with one morsel of food. On the next day, that is Ditiya, one morsel of food is increased, which means that instead of one morsel of food, now 2 morsels are taken. This way, one morsel of food is increased on each of the following days till the 14th day, Chaturdashi, when the fast is broken by having 14 morsels of food. A total fast is observed on Amavasya, dark moon. On the next day, that is the first day of the dark half of the month, one morsel is decreased, which means that the devotee should break his fast with 13 morsels of food. This way, one morsel is decreased on each successive day till Chaturdashi, when a devotee breaks his fast by having only one morsel of food. This is the way how Chandrayana Vrata should be observed. 14.7.11 Anag Trayodashi Vrata. This austerity is related to the worship of Lord Shiva and commences on the 13th day of the bright half of the Hindu month, Margashira, and lasts for a year. It concludes exactly after a year when Rati and Anag are worshipped with appropriate rituals. 10,000 offerings are made in the sacrificial fire. Brahmins are fed and donations made to them. One who observes this austerity is blessed with health, wealth, and good fortune. 14.7.12 Akhanda Dwadashi Vrata. This austerity is related with the worship of Lord Vishnu. It commences on the 12th day of the bright half of the Hindu month, Margashira, and lasts for a year, consisting of 3 phases. One important characteristic of this austerity is that all 4 months, which is the first phase of the austerity, 5 vessels filled with food grains are donated to Brahmins. In the second phase of the austerity, consisting of 4 months and commencing from the Hindu month Chaitra, pots filled with parched grams are donated to Brahmins. Similarly, in the third and final phase of the austerity, pots filled with ghee are donated to the Brahmins. 14.7.13 Shivaratri Vrata. This austerity is related with the worship of Lord Shiva, and a fast is observed on the 14th day of the dark half of the Hindu month Falgun. A devotee should observe fast in the night and worship Lord Shiva by chanting Om Namah Shivaya. He should perform Havan with black sesame seeds and worship Lord Shiva at midnight. In the third and the fourth prahar, 1 prahar equals 3 hours. With appropriate rituals, one who observes fast on this day gets all his wishes fulfilled and attains salvation as well. A devotee who observes Shivaratri fast for 12 successive years acquires knowledge, wealth, success, and happiness. Such a man also attains to Shivaloka after his death. 14.7.14 Virtues of observing fast on Shivaratri night. During ancient times, there lived a hunter named Sudarsan in the province of Arbuda. One day, he went into deep forest in search of his prey, but unfortunately found none. He wandered all over the place, but in vain. When evening came, he climbed up a wood apple bale tree to protect himself from the wild animals. Sudarshan was worried that his family would have nothing to eat that night. Engrossed in his contemplating mood, he kept on plucking leaves from the bale tree and throwing them down. There was a Shivalinga just under the tree and the leaves. When Sudarshan threw, fell down on it. Next morning, while Sudarshan was climbing down the tree, his arrow fell down. While picking up his arrow, he touched the Shivalinga. Sudarshan was unaware of the fact that it was Shivaratri night and he had worshipped Lord Shiva with appropriate rituals, albeit inadvertently. He had offered Bilva Patra to Lord Shiva and had touched the Shivalinga. He attained to Shivaloka on the account of the virtues attained by his inadvertent worship of Lord Shiva. 14.7.15 The power of chastity. Once, Sage Vyasa went to Brahmaloka to get his doubt cleared on certain spiritual matters from Lord Brahma. While dwelling on a wide range of religious topics such as importance of austerities and various incarnations Lord Vishnu took to protect righteousness, Lord Brahma narrated a tale of a Brahmin woman who possessed divine powers on account of her chastity. Lord Brahma said, during ancient times there lived a Brahmin named Kaushik in Patishtanapura, Nagara. He was inflicted with leprosy, but still his wife was very chaste and faithful towards him. His wife used to be on her toes, attending to all his demands and looking after all his requirements. But still, he used to scold and abuse his wife at the first given opportunity without any rhyme or reason. However, his wife did not mind his behavior, understanding quite well the frustrations of a man suffering from dreaded disease like leprosy. One day, something happened which made Kaushik extremely angry, and in a fit of rage, he made an impossible demand, thinking that his wife would never comply by it, giving him an opportunity to curse her to the satisfaction of his heart. Shouting angrily at his wife, Kaushik said, "Age has started showing effect on you. You don't look beautiful as before. You also have started neglecting me. Take me to a beautiful prostitute so that I can satisfy my sexual urge." Kaushik's wife was deeply hurt by his rude and unfair remarks, but she remained cool and calm. Being a chaste and a faithful wife, she had no opinion but to obey her husband's demand. So, she left for a prostitute's house carrying Kaushik on her shoulders. The prostitute house was far and it became dark while they were still on the way. Because of the darkness, Kaushik's wives could not see Sage Mandavya, who in spite of his innocence was given a severe punishment by the king. He had been made to sit on a pointed cone, which after having penetrated to his body had pierced even his skull. But being a great sage, Mandavya was engrossed in meditation even in such a painful physical condition. Unfortunately, Kaushik's feet, which was hanging down the shoulder of his wife, touched Mandavya's body. Mandavya's meditation was disturbed and he came out of his meditation level. As a result, he became conscious of his unbearable physical pain and cursed that whoever had disturbed his meditation would not live to see the next day. Kaushik died the next day, but his wife, who has full confidence in her power of chastity, knew that her husband would be alive once again. She cursed angrily. Mandavya has a misconception about his power. He thinks that only he can control the natural phenomena, but perhaps he does not know what feats a chaste woman is capable of performing. It is my command to the sun not to rise from tomorrow onwards. And indeed, the sun stopped rising from the next morning, leading to catastrophic fallout. Everything went haywire in the world, which made the deities extremely worried. They came to me, Lord Brahma, with a request to reveal why sun had stopped rising. I told them that it was all due to the curse of a chaste woman, and then I narrated the whole story. I revealed to them that nobody except Sati Anasuya was capable of bringing back order in the world. I advised them to seek the help of Sati Anasuya, who was famous for her exceptional chastity. So, as all deities went to Sati Anasuya and requested her to make the sun rise so that everything became orderly in the world once again, Sati Anasuya agreed to lend her help in bringing back normalcy in the world. She, by the virtue of her chastity, not only made the sun rise daily, but also made dead Kaushik alive once again. Such is the power commanded by the woman practicing the austerity of chastity. There are numerous examples of such women, famous for their chastity, and Sita was one of them. 14.8 The Tale of Ramayana. Lord Brahma then went on to describe the famous tale of Ramayana, the mere listening to which absolves a man from all his sins. He began by giving the details of Sri Rama's lineage and said, I, Lord Brahma, manifested from the lotus originating from the navel of Lord Vishnu. Sage Marichi manifested from me, while Kashyapa was Marichi's son. Surya manifested from Kashyapa. Vaisvavat Manu from Surya, and Ikshvaku was born to Vaisvavat Manu. The great Raghu was also the descendant of Ikshvaku. Raghu's son was Aja, whose son was Dasharatha. Dasharatha had 3 queens, Kaushalya, Kaikeyi and Sumitra. Kaushalya gave birth to Sri Rama, while Kaikeyi was the mother of Bharata. Sumitra had 2 sons, Lakshmana and Satrughna. Sri Rama had great devotion towards his parents. Sage Vishwamitra, who was tormented by the demons, took Sri Rama and Lakshmana along with him so that he could do his penance peacefully. He assured Dasharatha that he would make both his sons proficient in all scriptures as well as in the usage of various weapons. With great reluctance, Dasharatha allowed Sri Rama and Lakshmana to go along with Vishwamitra. Once in the forest, Sri Rama assured his guru to do his penance without bothering about the demons. Vishwamitra commenced his penance and Sri Rama killed all the demons trying to disturb him. The name of few demons killed by Sri Rama were Tadaka, Subahu, etc. Janaka, the father of Sita, has organized a grand Swayamvara ceremony to which he had invited all the prominent kings of that time. He had also sent invitation to Vishwamitra. Vishwamitra set out for Janakapura accompanied by Sri Rama and Lakshmana. Janaka had a huge bow gifted to him by Lord Shiva, and which he worshipped daily with appropriate rituals. Once during the process of cleaning the area where Shiva's bow was kept, Sita lifted the bow and kept it a distance. Later on, she forgot to keep it back at the original place. When Janaka came to worship the bow, he was surprised to find it to be kept at a different place. He made an inquiry and Sita confessed that she had kept it while cleaning the place of worship. Janaka just could not believe that his tender-looking daughter possessed such strength and power. No wonder he decided to give Sita's hand in marriage to such a man who could break Shiva's bow. So he made a declaration that anybody capable of breaking Shiva's bow could have Sita as his wife. There were many mighty warriors present at the Swayamvara ceremony, but none had the strength to even lift the bow. What to say about breaking it? Finally, as the destiny would have liked it, Sri Rama broke the bow into 3 pieces and thus married Sita. Lakshmana married Urmila, another daughter of Dasharatha, while Bharata and Shatrughna married. Lakshmana married Urmila, another daughter of King Janaka, while Bharata and Shatrughna married Mandavi and Kirtimai respectively, both daughters of King Kushaladwaja, the brother of King Janaka. Later on, when Dasharatha decided to crown Sri Rama as the king of Ayodhya, Kaikeyi played a spoil sport and demanded her son Bharata to be made a king of Ayodhya and Sri Rama to be sent in the exile for 14 years. Actually, Kaikeyi had taken an undue advantage of Dasharatha's helpless condition to serve her own interest. Once Dasharatha was busy fighting a battle, oblivious of the fact that one of the wheels of the chariot was about to eject from its axle as the nail supporting it had fallen off, Kaikeyi, who was accompanying him, saved his life by preventing the wheel from falling off and thus maintained the balance of the chariot. When Dasharatha learned how Kaikeyi has saved his life, he promised to grant her 2 boons. At that time, Kaikeyi did not ask for anything and merely said that she would demand at the appropriate time. So when the time for Rama's coronation came, she thought it was the best opportunity for her to remind Dasharatha about the 2 boons he had promised to grant her. Dasharatha, bound by his deep love for Sri Rama on the one hand and by his vow on the other, agreed to Kaikeyi's demand with a heavy heart. Sri Rama, without any hesitation, followed his father's order and left for the forest. How could have Sita and Lakshmana lived without him? So they too accompanied him to the forest. In the course of his journey, Sri Rama passed by many holy places and finally, after reaching Chitrakoot, he made Pranakuti, hermitage made of leaves, and started living there. The shock caused by Sri Rama's separation proved to be fatal for Dasharatha, who died with an unfulfilled desire of having a glimpse of his dearest son. Bharata, who was at the time was at his maternal uncle's palace, returned to Ayodhya after hearing the news of his father's demise and performed his last rites. He then went to Chitrakuta and tried his level best to convince Sri Rama into returning back to Ayodhya, but Sri Rama did not agree, and it was against his principle to disobey the commands of his father. Sri Rama gave his pair of wooden sandals to Bharata as a token of love and respected him to return to Ayodhya. Bharata returned to Ayodhya and kept Sri Rama's sandals on the throne. He then stationed himself at Nandigrama, a city situated at the outskirts of Ayodhya, and started ruling from there on behalf of his elder brother. He had vowed not to return to Ayodhya till the completion of Sri Rama's period of exile. From Chitrakuta, Sri Rama reached Dandakaranya, accompanied by Sita and Lakshmana, and started living in the hermitage made of leaves. There, they also met prominent sages like Atri and Agastya. Once, an ogress named Shurpanaka, Ravana's sister, attacked Sri Rama, but Lakshmana retaliated by severing both her ears as well as her nose. Shurpanaka, badly injured and bleeding profusely, went to Kardushan and narrated her woeful tale. Kradushan attacked Sri Rama with a huge army consisting of 14,000 soldiers but lost all his men in the battle. The revengeful Ravana went to the hermitage disguised as a hermit and abducted Sita while Sri Rama was away in pursuit of Marich, the golden deer. Actually, Marich was a demon who had disguised himself as a golden deer on the instruction of Ravana so that Sita could be abducted successfully. Ravana knew quite well that it was impossible for him to abduct Sita in the presence of Sri Rama. So he hatched a plan according to which Marich was to disguise himself as a golden deer and enchanted Sita. Ravana was sure that Sita, after being enchanted by the beauty of the golden deer, would ask her husband to get it at any cost. Everything happened as per plan of Ravana, and he was successful in abducting Sita. When Sri Rama did not find Sita in the hermitage, he became worried and started searching for her frantically. On the way, he met old Jatayu, who had got injured while trying to resist Ravana from taking away Sita. Jatayu informed him that Ravana had taken Sita towards south. Jatayu was so badly injured that he died soon after giving Sita's information to Sri Rama. Sri Rama performed his last rites and continued with his search. He proceeded towards south as per the instruction of Jatayu and reached Rishyamukha mountain, where he met Sugriva, whom he befriended. He killed Bali, who harbored enmity against his brother Sugriva. He then made Sugriva the king of Kishkinda and himself went to live at Rishyamukha mountain. Sugriva sent monkeys in all directions to find out Sita's whereabouts. Hanuman went towards south and with the help of Sampati managed to find out the exact location where Ravana had kept Sita. Hanuman took a giant leap and the next moment he found himself on the other side of the ocean. He went to Ashokavatika where Ravana had kept Sita in captivity. He presented the ring to her, which Sri Rama had given him. Sita in turn gave her Chudamani ornament and requested him to give it to Sri Rama. Jumping from one branch to another, hungry Hanuman ate all the fruits and in the process destroyed the beautiful garden. When Ravana came to know about the destruction caused in the beautiful garden of Ashokavatika, he sent many demons to capture Hanuman, but all of them were killed, including Akshaya Kumara, Ravana's son. Ultimately, Hanuman was made captive by Meghanad and produced before Ravana, who ordered his tail to be set ablaze as a punishment. Hanuman, with his tail ablaze, jumped from one place to another and burned the golden city of Lanka within no time. He then returned to his master Sri Rama and described everything in detail. Finally, Sri Rama attacked Lanka with a huge army comprising of mighty warriors like Hanuman, Sugriva, Angad and many others. A fierce battle took place in which all the demons, including Ravana, were killed. The victorious Sri Rama returned to Ayodhya along with his consort Sita. The residents of Ayodhya danced in joy at the return of their son. Sri Rama ruled over Ayodhya for 11,000 years. Finally, he ascended to the heaven, taking along all the people of Ayodhya with him. But before doing that, he appointed Lava and Kush, his sons, as his successors. 14.9 Sri Krishna, making a revelation to Vyasa that the Almighty God manifests himself whenever the civilization is endangered by the dominance of sinners, Lord Brahma said, in Dwapar Yuga, Lord Vishnu incarnated as Sri Krishna to protect Dharma from being subjugated by Adharma, which had become all pervasive at the time. He was born to Vasudeva and Devaki. Both his parents have been kept under captive by Kansa, who was aware of the propensity that he would be killed by Devaki's eighth son. In due course of time, Devaki gave birth to 7 sons, all of whom were mercilessly killed by Kansa one by one. In order to protect the life of Sri Krishna, the eighth child born to Devaki, Vasudeva exchanged him with the baby girl born to Yashoda and Nanda. Vasudeva had no problem in moving out of the prison as Krishna, by his divine power, induced all the gods to sleep. Sri Krishna, being an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, performed great feats right from his childhood. Once Kansa sent an ogress named Putana, who tried to kill Sri Krishna by breastfeeding him. But Krishna sucked her breast with such ferocity that Putana met an instant death. In due course of time, Sri Krishna killed many more ferocious demons like Shaktasur, Kaliyanag, Dhenukasur, and mesmerized the resident of Gokul by his divine bravery. He also performed many other divine feats like lifting Govardhana mountain and performing Rasa Leela with the gopis. Seeing all his plans of killing Sri Krishna go in vain, Kansa sent him a message challenging for a duel bout with his court wrestler named Mushtik and Chanur. Sri Krishna killed both the dreaded demons without much difficulty. Ultimately, Sri Krishna climbed up the throne, sitting on which Ravana had been watching the wrestling bout, and pulled him down by his hair. Both the dreaded demons without much difficulty. Ultimately, Sri Krishna climbed up the throne, sitting on which Kansa had been watching the wrestling bout, and pulled him down by his hair. Then he punched Kansa on his chest so hard that he died an instantaneous death. Having accomplished his most important mission of killing the demon King Kansa and liberating the earth from his tyranny, Sri Krishna went on to complete his education under the tutelage of sage Sandipini. During ancient times, it was customary for a disciple to offer dakshina to his teacher. As a mark of respect after his education was complete, Sri Krishna followed his tradition, gave an invaluable dakshina to his guru by bringing all his dead sons alive to earth from Yamaloka. Sri Krishna was subsequently crowned as the king of Mathura, but on account of the relentless attack by Jarasandha, he had to abandon his dear city and shift his base to Dwaraka. He had 8 queens, among whom Rukmini and Satyabhama were prominent. Later on, he rescued 16,100 women from the captivity of Narakasura and married all of them. From Rukmini, he had a son named Pradyumna, who killed Shambarasura. Aniruddha was Pradyumna's son, and he married Usha's daughter of Banasur. Banasur was a great devotee of Lord Shiva and was blessed with 1,000 hands. Lord Shiva came to his rescue at the time when he was battling against the might of Sri Krishna. A fierce battle was fought between both the deities, which remained inconclusive even after a long time. Lord Shiva then requested Sri Krishna to spare Banasur's life, to which he agreed, albeit partially. Sri Krishna severed all the hands of Banasur, barring 2. Finally, after accomplishing his mission of liberating the earth from the darkness of sin, Sri Krishna left for heavenly abode. 14.10 The Tale of Mahabharata. Giving the reason that led to the great battle of Mahabharata, Lord Brahma told sage Vyasa that Sri Krishna had planned this great battle and executed it to perfection to relieve the earth from the burden of tyrants. While giving the name of lineal ascendants of Kaurava and Pandavas, he said, I, Lord Brahma, manifested from the lotus, which itself has its origin in the navel of Vishnu. Atri manifested from me, while Chandra from Atri. Budh was born to Chandra. while he himself was the father of Pururava. Ayu and Pururava's son, while he himself was the son of Yayati. The names of few famous descendants of Yayati were Bharata, Kuru, and Shantanu. Shantanu had two wives, Ganga and Satyavati. The former was the mother of Bhishma, the indomitable warrior, who had vowed to remain a bachelor throughout his life. The later, that is Satyavati, gave birth to two sons, Chitrangad and Vichitravirya. A Gandharva killed Chitrangad, while Vichitravirya died issueless despite having two wives, Ambika and Ambalika, both daughters of king of Kashi. In order to expand their clan, both Ambika and Ambalika begot one son each from the sage Vyasa. Ambika gave birth to Dhritarashtra, while Ambalika to Pandu. The same Vyasa also had a son from a maidservant who became famous as Vidur, and who was famous for his statesmanship and tactfulness. Dasharatha married Gandhari and begot 100 sons from her, among whom Duryodhana was most notorious. These 100 sons of Dhritarashtra became famous as Kauravas. Pandu had two wives, Kunti and Madari, from whom he begot 5 sons, Yudhishthira, Bhima, Arjuna, Nakula and Sahadeva, who all grew up to be very powerful and mighty. All 5 of them became famous as Pandavas. Pandu, their father, had died while they were still young, and Madari, unable to bear the sorrow, had given up her life by jumping into the burning prey of her dead husband. So the Pandavas were brought up under the guardianship of Kunti. Kaurava and Pandavas were bitter rivals right from their childhood. Duryodhana never missed a chance to torment the Pandavas, his cousins. Both Kaurava and Pandavas were brought up under the tutelage of Kripacharya and Dronacharya, both prominent scholars of their times. Once Duryodhana tried to kill Bhima by poisoning him, but fortunately Bhima not only came out unscathed, but also with renewed strength and vigor. Duryodhana tried his luck for the second time to eliminate his enemies by setting ablaze the house of wax in which Pandavas were living, but once again they came out unharmed. Pandavas then went out to Ekachakranagara and took refuge in the house of a Brahmin family. A demon named Baka used to torment the people of Ekachakranagara. Bhima killed the demon, and the people were relieved at the news of their tormentor's death. Thereafter, Pandavas went to attend the Swayamvara ceremony of Draupadi. Arjuna won Draupadi as his wife, but by piercing the eye of the fish hanging above his head by looking at his image in the water pot kept below. At the instant of Dronacharya and Bhishma, Yudhishthira reluctantly agreed to share half of his kingdom with the Pandavas. Thus, Pandavas started living at Indraprastha. At the instant of Dronacharya, Pandavas started living at Indraprastha, the capital of their newly acquired kingdom. At the instant of Dronacharya and Bhishma, Duryodhana reluctantly agreed to share half of his kingdom with the Pandavas. Thus, Pandavas started living at Indraprastha, the capital of the newly acquired kingdom. Arjuna married Subhadra, his second wife and the sister of Sri Krishna. He pleased Agni Devi by his austere penance and received divine weapons like a divine chariot, Gandiva, bow, imperishable arrows, and an impenetrable shield. After being armed with his divine weapons, he successfully defeated many powerful monarchies and gave the whole acquired wealth to Yudhishthira, his elder brother. Dhritarashtra invited Yudhishthira for a game of Dyuta, gamble, but Duryodhana defeated him by employing unfair and deceitful tactics. With the active connivance of Shakuni, his cunning maternal uncle, Yudhishthira lost everything in the gamble, his whole wealth, his kingdom, and even Draupadi. Pandavas had to go into exile for 12 years. With an additional year of Ajnatavasa, they were not supposed to be recognized during this period, as per the terms and conditions laid down for the game. After completing the total period of exile, Pandavas reached Viratanagara to spend their year of Ajnatavasa, which posed more dangers and challenges because if they were recognized during this period, it would meant another 12 years of exile for them. Having successfully completed their period of exile, Pandavas demanded back their kingdom. But Duryodhana was not even willing to part way with 5 villages. Thus, Pandavas were left with no opinion but to fight for their legitimate rights. Both the rival armies boasted of mighty and brave warriors on their sides. Duryodhana appointed Bhishma as the chief commander of his army, whereas Shikandi was leading Pandava army. The first 10 days of the battle saw a fierce fight between both the rival armies, during which period many warriors from each side achieved martyrdom. Finally, while Bhishma lay down injured, his whole body pierced with Arjuna's arrow, but still alive because he had received a boon of Ichamrityu, death by his choice. Prominent warriors from both sides stood around him. It was only after the sun came north of equinox, Uttarayana, the auspicious time, Bhishma had chosen to leave his mortal body. Then he died after preaching the Pandava on a wide range of subjects. After Bhishma's death, Dronacharya led the Kaurava army. This was the most crucial phase of the battle. Duryodhana had become so demoralized after his son's death that he had just no motivation left in him to fight the battle. Finding an opportune moment, Drishtadyumna severed his head, and Kauravas thus lost the most able and experienced commander. Duryodhana appointed Karna as the next commander of Kauravas' army. The most decisive phase of the battle began, and after a fierce battle of 2 days, Arjuna managed to kill his brave rival. Subsequently, Yudhishthira killed Shalya. After losing all his mighty warriors, Duryodhana, in a fit of rage, challenged Bhima for a duel of mace. Bhima killed him after a fierce fight. The revengeful Ashwathama, son of Dronacharya, attacked the Pandava camp at night, much against the norms of the battle, and killed all the five sons of Draupadi and thousands of other Pandava soldiers. Arjuna avenged the death of his sons by defeating Ashwathama and extracting the diamond set in his forehead. After the battle ended, Yudhishthira performed rituals of Shraddha in the name of all the dead warriors and ascended the throne. He ruled in a just manner, just according to the instruction given by Bhishma. After Sri Krishna left his mortal world, Yudhishthira appointed Parikshit as his successor and left for Himalayas accompanied by his brothers as well as Draupadi. 14.11 The Eternal Truth. This chapter contains 2 sections as follows. Lord Brahma, while shedding light on various aspects of religion, told sage Vyasa that a man should look at his sorrows, shoka, with a sense of aloofness and detachment, considering it as a passing phase. He also revealed to Vyasa that the fire of sorrow consumed everything that came into its fold, and nothing remained untouched by it. A sorrowful man becomes bereft of all his possessions, knowledge, religion, physical strength, patience, happiness, and all such qualities. Lord Brahma also told him that virtuous deeds never went without being rewarded, as all good deeds enjoyed by man in his life are nothing but the results of his virtuous past karmas. On the contrary, sinful deeds committed by man makes his present as well as his future births miserable. Further glorifying the virtues of some other good deeds, Lord Brahma said, protecting the life of a person whose life is endangered and who has sought one's refuges is the greatest virtue, and no other deed can be compared with it. One who sheds his life to protect his religion attains to heaven. A contented man enjoys even his adversities and remain unperturbed by them. A man should never miss a chance to get benefited by the company of enlightened souls because it gives him an opportunity to understand religion in a better way. Donating food begets incomparable virtues, and no other virtuous deed stands anywhere near it. Lord Brahma concluded by describing Sanatana Dharma in a nutshell and said, anybody observing the following austerities should be considered an ardent follower of Sanatana Dharma: truth, penance, self-control, purity, forgiveness, compassion, knowledge, and donation. 14.11.1 The Supreme Yoga. Once, sage Shaunaka asked Sutaji about the reasons behind man's sorrows. Sutaji told him that man's ego and his attachment to this mortal world were the 2 most important causes for his sorrow, and until he gets rid of them, he will continue to suffer. Sutaji said, The tree of ignorance sprouts from the seed of egotism, and it receives its nutrition from sensual pleasures. Only those who possess the axe of knowledge are successful in felling this tree of ignorance and experience the ecstasy of divine bliss. Once a man has experienced this divine bliss, he not only becomes free from all kinds of sorrows, but is also freed from the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. This divine link, which a man establishes with Almighty, is called Mahayoga, the supreme yoga. But those unfortunate people who have not experienced this divine bliss continue to get trapped by the worldly illusions leading to their countless births and deaths. Sutaji then went on to describe the means by which a man can have a pure heart and said, austerities like meditation, worship, fast, oblations, charity, etc. certainly helps a man in getting rid of all kinds of impurities. 14.11.2 Devotion, the path leading to the Almighty. Glorifying devotion as the simplest means to reach God, Sutaji told Saunaka that there was nothing else that pleases God more than the unflinching devotion of his devotee in him. Sutaji said, a devotee who chants the holy name of God acquires imperishable virtues and attains salvation even if he were a lowly sinner. One who has surrendered himself to the will of God is absolved of all his sins. Even Yamaraja, the Lord of Death, has strictly instructed his escorts to spare those who are devotees of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu himself has declared that anybody having total devotion in him should be considered as the most virtuous soul, even if he has committed the most heinous of sins. Further, hailing the glory of chanting Lord Vishnu's name, Surji said, the mere chanting of Lord Vishnu's name in Kali Yuga brings the same virtue what the combined virtues of meditating on him during Satya Yuga, chanting his sacred mantras during Treta Yuga, and worshipping him during Dwapara Yuga brought. A devotee who has nothing but the sacred name of Lord Vishnu on his lips is certain to attain to Vishnu Loka after becoming free from the bondage of this world. Chanting the divine name of Vishnu, even in dreams, is believed to absolve a man of all his sins. Then, what to say about people who consciously chant his holy name while they are awake? Thus, Sutaji told sage Saunaka that anybody could attain salvation by simply having total devotion in Lord Vishnu, as it was most simplest path leading to the Almighty. 14.12 Divine Stotras. This chapter contains 3 sections as follows. 14.12.1 Narasimha Stotra. Telling about the version of this stotra, Sutaji said, Lord Shiva had created this stotra praising the glory of Lord Narasimha and invoking him to protect the world from the wrath of Matrikas. The stotra goes as follows. Namaste Su Jagannatha Narasimha Vyapuradhara Daiteshwara Indra Sanharnikha Bhukti Virajit Nakamandala Sambhina Hema Pingala Vigraha Namostu Padmanabhya Shobhanai Jagadguru Kalpa Atambho Dhanigosh Surya Koti Samaprabha Sahastrayam Santras Sahatrendra Parakrama Sahasastra Dandapit Sahastra Charanatmaka Sahastra Chandra Pratim Sahasransru Hirti Ram Sahasra Rudra Tejasta Sahasra Brahma Santasu Sahasra Rudra Sanjat Sahasrat Akshaya Nirastanaha सहस्रात् जन्म माथान सहस्रात् बंधमोचन सहस्रत् वायु वेगस सहस्रात् अंगकृपाकर. 14.12.2 Kulamrit Stotra. Sage Narada once asked Lord Shiva about the means by which a man could become free from the delusion of the world. Lord Shiva revealed to him the contents of Kulamrit Stotra, eulogizing the majesty of Lord Vishnu. By chanting this stotra, Narada successfully attained to the supreme status, which even the most enlightened souls can only dream of. One who eulogizes Lord Vishnu by chanting this stotra becomes liberated from all the bondage of the world. This stotra goes as follows. Vastu Vishmana Dhyanta Majamatamani Sanstitam Sarvagya Machalam Vishnum Sada Dahyayat Sa Muchayat Devam Garbho Chitam Vishnum Sada Dhyayan Vimuchate Ashariram Vedayatram Sarvagnya Manoratim Achala Sarvagam Vishnum Sada Dhyayen Vimuchate Nirvikalpam Nirabasam Nishaprancham Niramayam Vasudevam Guru Vishnum Sadadhyayen Vimuchate Sarvatvam Chavai Yavadatma Chaitanya Rupakam Shubham Ekaksharam Vishnum Sada Dhyayen Vimuchate Vamyatitam Trikalagnyam Vishvesham Lokashakshinam Sarvasamudyatam Vishnum Sada Dhyayen Vimuchate Brahmadideva Gandharvai Munibhim Siddha Charanayaha Yogibi Svetam Vishnum Sada Dhyayen Vimuchate Samsara Bandhanan Mukti Micharmerako Dhya Sheshatham Stu Vaivam Varadam Vishnum Sada Dhyayam Vimuchate Samsaram Bandhanat Kopi Mukti Mityahan Samahitaha Antaha Matyayam Devam Vishnum Vishwam Parishtitim Vishveshwaram Masaram Vishnum Sada Dhyayan Vimuchate. 14.12.3 Mrityu Ashtaka Stotram. Describing the origin of this stotra, Sutaji said, Lord Vishnu himself had taught this powerful stotra to sage Markandeya. The daily chanting of this powerful mantra has enabled Markandeya to conquer death. One who daily chants this stotra thrice a day enjoys a long life and never dies a premature death. This stotra goes as follows. Damodaram Prashnanosmin Kin Mrityuhu Karishyati Shankachakra Dharam Devam Vyaktarupen Matyayam Adokshajam Prapannosmi Kinno Mrityuhu Karishyati Varaham Vamanam Vishnum Narasimham Janardanam Madhavam Cha Prapannosmi Kinno Mrityu Karishyati Purusham Pushkara Khetra Bijam Punya Jagatpatim Lokanatham prapannosmi kinno mrityu karishyati sahasrat shirirasam deva vekta tyatkatam sanatam mahayogam prapannosmi kinna mrityu karishyati bhutatmana mahatmana yagayoni mayojanam vishwarupam prapannosmi kinna mrityu karishyati ityudi ritmarkandyam stotram tasya mahatmanaha iti teno jitamrityu markandeyana dimata prasne pundarikakshe nisinhe nasti durlabham. 14.13 Salvation through Yoga. This chapter contains two sections as follows. Sutaji told sage Shaunaka that the ultimate aim of a man's life was to attain salvation. A man cannot attain salvation until and unless he has seen through the trappings of these worldly illusions. Sutaji said, practice of yoga helps a man to live in this world with sense of detachment and to successfully avoid the allurement of this mortal world. Yoga comprises of 6 organs: pranayama, breathing exercise; japa, chanting; pratyahara, restraining sense organs; dharana, resolution; dhyana, meditation; and samadhi, deep meditation. Not running after sensual pleasures by having self-control helps a man in diminishing his sense, and diminishment of sense pleases the deities who gives blessings. Blessings of deities helps a man to attain salvation. Pranayama, an important part of yoga, is of 2 types, garbha and agarbha. Pranayama done with simultaneous chanting of mantra is called garbha, whereas in agarbha pranayama, mantras are not chanted. It is natural for a man to get attracted by worldly pleasures, and checking this tendency of the mind is called pratyahara. It is not easy to control the mind and concentrate on anything for a long time, but dharana helps a man to do that. When a man has successfully controlled his sensual desires, then it becomes very easy for him to concentrate his mind. A concentrated mind finds it easy to meditate. When he has mastered meditation, it is not difficult for him to enter into deep state of meditation, that is samadhi. In the state of samadhi, all sense of dualism ceases to exist as one established divine link with the Almighty, which helps him in experiencing indescribable divine bliss. 14.13.1 Self-realization. Once, on being asked by sage Narada about the means that helped a man in attaining self-realization, Lord Vishnu told him that only those privileged few who have understood the impermanent nature of this world and have successfully controlled their sensual desires can attain self-realization. All the mysteries of this universe are unraveled to man of self-realization, and he attains salvation. Lord Vishnu said, it should be the prime objective of a man to make incessant efforts so that he can experience this divine knowledge of self-realization. The real knowledge, for every other kind of knowledge, is superficial and of least significance. Lord Vishnu went on to describe how self-realization could be obtained. Yada sarve vimuchyate kamayasya hridi statitaha tatarmit tvau mapnopati jivannevana samshaya, meaning when there is no desire left in the heart, then a man is certain to experience the divine taste of this nectar, self-realization, in his lifetime, and there is no doubt about it. Unraveling the mysteries of the universe to sage Narada, Lord Vishnu said, Brahma is the cause behind this universe, and one who has understood this fact that can be rightly called a man of self-realization. A man being under the influence of his sensual perceptions falsely believes this world to be real and is unable to understand the real cause behind the existence of this world, which is not the case with a man of self-realization. Instead of searching without, a man should seek within, because within him exists the universe just like our sense organs pursue them externally. The whole mystery of universe is unraveled to man who makes incessant efforts to undertake this journey, for if his efforts are made with pure heart and a firm determination, then he is sure to reach his goal of self-realization one day or the other. The soul, Atma, is Brahma, but this fact becomes apparent only to those privileged few who have attained self-realization. Self-realization illuminates the soul in the same way just as lighting illuminates the dark sky at night. Lightning illuminates the dark sky at night. Lord Vishnu went on to describe himself in the following words: I am pure and beyond the limits of human intelligence. I am beyond the confinement of three basic qualities, Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Tamasaguna. Only he can experience me who possesses an enlightened soul, because I manifest myself in the heart of every individual as a divine effulgence in order to drive away the darkness which engulfs it. 14.13.2 Brahma Gita. Anybody who studied the sacred text of Brahma Gita is certain to attain salvation, for it brilliantly propounds the theory of divinity of man by proclaiming that in each individual dwells Brahma, the Supreme Almighty. Eulogizing the glory of Brahma Gita, Lord Vishnu said, Brahma Gita declares that in each individual dwells Brahma, and one who has understood the fact becomes free from the bondage of the world, that is, attains salvation. Nobody can deny the fact that God exists, because the Almighty manifests Himself all around us in various forms, both perceptible and imperceptible. All the five elements, space, air, water, fire, and earth, are nothing but the manifestation of Almighty God. Unfortunately, most of the people are unaware of the presence of divinity in them, the existence of Brahma in each of them. The reason for this is not much difficult to comprehend, because this fact is so subtle that only enlightened souls can experience it. He lies dormant and cannot be experienced until and unless he is awakened by the means of austerities and penance. Brahma is ever present in a man and does not abandon him in any of the three states of his consciousness, while he is awake, while he is dreaming, or even while he is asleep. Despite being present in every individual, he still remains unaffected by his deeds, because by nature he is eternally pure. One more reason why a man is unable to feel the presence of Brahma in himself is his own ego, which he falsely develops deep association. So a person who is desirous of realizing God must first subdue his ego, so that Brahma manifests himself in all his glory. Without subduing his ego, a man can never realize God, because the sense of dualism is the greatest impediment in the path of God's realization, and egotism only strengthens the sense of dualism. Once man has successfully subdued his ego, the dawning of God realization becomes imminent, because Brahma now has no problem in manifesting himself in the change scenario. Brahma, who is absolute truth, eternally pure, and the Supreme Almighty, he is the eternal bliss dwelling in each individual, the realization which made the Vedas to proclaim Tattvasi, Thou is me, and who is beyond the confinement of time and space. Ultimately, Lord Vishnu revealed to sage Narada that Brahma, whose glory he has praised, was none other than himself. 14.14 Garuda's queries. This chapter contained two sections as follows. Sutaji once reached the forest of Naimisharanya in the course of his journey. Naimisharanya was a holy place where sages and hermits went to do penance. After reaching there, Sutaji met many prominent sages who were pleased at his arrival. They took it as God-sent opportunity to get their doubts cleared on the mystery called death and what exactly happens after a man died. Sage Shaunaka, one of those sages, asked Sutaji, O river sage, O revered sage, we were just awaiting your arrival. It seems God has listened to our prayers. We are confused by so many diverse and contradictory opinions expressing on the mysteries of death and what happens after death. Some people are of belief that a man takes rebirth soon after his death, whereas there are some who believe that a man after his death first goes to Yamaloka to taste the fruit of his karmas and only then he takes rebirth. We request you to clear out doubts and enlighten us on the mystery called death. Sutaji recounted the tale of the Garuda, who had once posed the same query to Lord Krishna. While narrating the tale, Sutaji said, Garuda's son of Vinita once decided to get a first-hand experience of all the three lokas, that is worlds. After visiting all the three worlds, he returned to Vaikuntha Loka and narrated his experience to Lord Krishna. Garuda said, after visiting all the three lokas, I found the earth, Prithvi, little overcrowded as compared to other lokas. I also found that it provided better opportunity to man, both for materialistic enjoyment as well as a spiritual advancement. So, I have come to the conclusion that the Prithvi Loka was the best of all the lokas in every respect, but all round prevalence of sorrow and misery in Prithvi Loka made me sad. I was really perplexed to see people performing complex rituals after the death of their relative. All these rituals appeared so absurd to me. I was really amazed to see people laying down their dead relatives on the ground. I could not understand why a dead body is laid on a bed of kusha grass and sesame seeds. I witnessed so many rituals that surprises me. For instance, I could not understand the reason why donations are made after a man dies. I am puzzled by the mysteries called death or what becomes of him after he dies. The sight of sons lifting the dead body of their father on their shoulder is still fresh in my memory. I could not understand the reason why ghee, clarified butter, is applied on dead body or why the relatives of the deceased chant Yamasukta facing north. I was also surprised to see the son of deceased being debarred from having meal along with his other relatives. O Lord, please reveal to me the significance of making Pindadana or the significance of Tarpana rituals. Please tell me the proper method of offering Pindadana and invoking ancestors. I find it hard to believe that all the deeds, virtuous or evil committed by man, follow him after his death. This way, Garuda flooded Lord Krishna with a barrage of questions and sought clarifications on them. 14.1 Salvation through rituals. Lord Krishna replied, I am so delighted that you have asked such important question for the benefit of mankind. I am revealing you the secrets with which were hitherto unknown even to the deities and yogins. O Garuda, a man should try to beget a son with the help of means as mentioned in the scriptures because there is no salvation for a person bereft of son. Lord Krishna then went on to describe the proper rituals which are performed after the death of a man and said, first of all, the area should be purified by coating it with a layer of cow dung. This purified area is called mandala, and it is graced by the presence of the Trinity, Brahma, Shiva, and myself. Sesame seeds are sprinkled on the purified area and kusha grass is spread. A person whose death is imminent is then laid down on the bed of kusha grass. Scriptures say that a person who does not leave his mortal body in the above-mentioned way wanders Hithrath and Thithrath in the form of restless spirits. No amount of rituals can put such a soul to rest. O Garuda, sesame seeds has manifested from a sweat and hence is extremely pure. All kinds of evil forces like ghosts, spirits, demons, etc. keep away from the place where it is used. Similarly, kusha grass has manifested from a body hair and is graced by the presence of Trinity, Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu. Deities are satisfied if kusha grass is offered to them, while ancestors are satisfied by offering of sesame seeds. Scriptures say that if dying man is laid down on a bed of kusha grass spread on the land, purified by cow dung, he becomes absolved of all his sins. There is a great significance of donating salt after the death of a person. Salt owes its origin to me, and donating it helps ancestors in attaining heaven. Donating salt also helps in reducing the pain and suffering of dying man, and that is why it is donated along with other articles after a death of a person. The relatives of deceased should chant the sacred Yamasukta. facing north because it helps him to attain liberation. Lord Krishna then explained to Garuda the appropriate way of carrying the corpse to the cremation ground. The dead body should be carried to the cremation ground by the sons and other relatives of the deceased. In the cremation ground, the dead body should be kept in such a way that its head should be either towards east or north. The pyre should be made either of sandal or palasha wood. Describing the experience of the soul when it leaves the body, Lord Krishna said, "The soul leaves the mortal body with great reluctance because the attachment to the mortal world exists even after its death. Yamadutas descend down to earth to take the soul of the dying man to Yamaloka. Those who have committed grave sins are tied with ropes and taken to Yamaloka with great humiliation, but virtuous souls are taken with honor and due respect. Yamaraja, the Lord of Death, receives the virtuous soul with all the honor and respects and metes out punishment to those who have committed sins during their lives. In his dark complexion with the buffalo at his mouth and with a noose and iron stick in his hand, Yamaraja appears terrifying. On the other hand, the sight of lifeless body appears disgusting and people try to dispose it off as quickly as possible because it is worthless without a soul. So one must try to make the best use of this mortal body by indulging in good deeds before the day of his final journey arrives, otherwise he would be left with nothing but regrets at the time of his death." 14.14.2 Death and After. Continuing with his narration, Lord Krishna said, "O Garuda, death comes at the predetermined time, which remains fixed and unaltered under all circumstances. A man's sense organs become weak and his body feeble, which gets inflicted with numerous diseases in his old age. At the time of his death, man experiences unbearable pain and he begins to lose his consciousness. Yamadutas arrives and begin to retrieve the soul from the body, and this aggravates the pain. Ultimately, the soul, which is not more than the size of a thumb, reluctantly comes out of the body as the attachment with the world exists even after its death. But a virtuous person does not go through all this painful experience at the time of his death. The soul has to take birth in different species as well as to go through cycles of countless births, deaths, and rebirths in order to taste the fruits of his karmas." Describing the significance of Pindadana ritual, Lord Vishnu told Garuda that they are performed so that the mains are satiated. He also revealed to him the 6 Pindadanas are offered to the mains while performing the rituals of last rites. The first Pindadana is made at the place where the person has breath is last, while the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth Pindadanas are made at the main entrance of the house, the nearest crossroads, the cremation ground, on the pyre itself, and at the time of collecting last remains, asti, respectively. After reaching the cremation ground, the dead body should lay down with its head towards south. The mortal body then should be consigned to flames, and after some time, sesame seeds and ghee should be poured into the burning prey so that it can continue to burn without any problem. For the next 10 days, the relatives coming from the same gotras of the deceased should observe a period of asaucha, a period during which he observes strict austerities and avoids social contacts. The son of the deceased is prohibited from having food along with his relatives simply because he is believed to be impure during this period. This way, by being satisfied by Lord Krishna's answer, Garuda thanked him for clearing whatever doubts he had in his mind. Lord Krishna blessed him. End of Garuda Purana. Sri Krishnarpanamastu.